Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Football Inc. I hope you're all happy and healthy, doing the things you love with those you love to do them with. We are back with Jonny H. We got another day, 24 hours since the last time we spoke to you, and a lot has changed. A lot has changed. There's a lot of new news coming out with regards Ekitike. There's new news coming out with Alex Isak. There's new news coming out with football ownership, with PSR, with FFP, with Chelsea, with Brentford, Matthew Benham selling his stake to a donor of the Labour Party. What does that mean? What does that look like? Does that interrupt or intercept the story with regards Vissa, with regards Umbumo? Lots of change at Brentford, lots of change everywhere else. We've got other interesting news, views, and clues to bring to your attention. And on top of that, we have a couple more segments of the show for you. And today is the day that Jonny and I get told which Spanish team that we are going to be supporting, hopefully for a long time. You never know. In about 10 years' time, it might just turn out that Jonny says, I'm Osasuna first and I'm Tottenham Hotspur second. We're going to find out how that looks later on in the show. But for right now, guys, please do us the greatest of favors like you always do. Please smash the like button for us. Like your life depends on it, because our channel does depend on it. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. If you are new here and you are watching this and you want to participate in the comment section on YouTube, all you got to do is smash the subscribe and then you get instant access. Hit the notification bell so you know when we can go or when we do go. Drop the comments in thick and fast. Let us know where you're going. The choo-choo train can start right now as well. And on top of that, guys, if you are watching on this, but you'd rather be listening on podcast, then all of the major podcast platforms are available. Search Football Inc. or look in the description below for those personal links. Jonny, how you doing, buddy? How are you, mate? You okay?
Yeah. All goodish. The heat has gone, thank God. Nice fresh weather come, bit of rain, back to the heat again in the next couple of days. I said yesterday was a really, really quiet show. And I said I was really confident that things would pick up tomorrow, being today. But I never expected it to be as crazy as it's kicked off. Everything's going today. We got everything. We got conspiracy theorists. We've got players being linked with clubs. We got clubs who, if they don't do their business soon, they're going to miss out on their players. Dominoes ready to fall. Yeah, big news today. And just quickly on the Spurs front, all the Spurs fans obviously waiting on Morgan's Gibb White news. Came out of Forest newspaper that he hadn't turned up for training. And then about 10 minutes later, there was another report saying he has turned up for training. There's mixed messages. There's mixed news. It's very fluid, the situation, and anything can happen in the next half hour. So what we're starting from here with that news, by the time we finish, could be something else.
There are known knowns. There are things we know. We also know there are known unknowns. That is to say, we know there are some things we do not know. But there are also unknown unknowns. The ones we don't know, we don't know.
Jonny, I kept that one for you, mate. Yeah. You haven't seen that one before, have you?
No, we haven't, but that sums it up.
Yeah, there's a lot of unknown unknowns going on with regards Morgan Gibbs White. A lot of people are saying that they don't think it's going to happen anymore. It's still happening, guys. He's gone in for a chat allegedly with the chairman Marinakis and said, "Listen, let me go, bro. Let me go. If you love me, let me go." But unfortunately, he has officially complained allegedly to the Premier League, and that there's lawyers now involved. And you know what that means? It means dithering and delays. If you look at the Premier League track record, okay, they've had the chance to get through the 115 charges of Manchester City. We were promised that would be done. The result was decided in December. We were told it would be out by March. It's now July the 15th, and nada. Chelsea, Bowley went to the Premier League when he first got in and said, yeah, look, we've looked through the accounts and the predecessor was doing shenanigans with his PA and all that stuff, that hot, smoky woman. And so they kind of went, look, fine us or whatever. It wasn't us. It was the last guy, even though they're benefiting still from that kind of shenanigans. And still to that day, we were promised that would be fixed. There'd be details about that. That hasn't happened. So unfortunately, what I worry about as a Tottenham fan, Jonny, is that whether or not we're fine, whether or not there's no problem here, I believe that there won't be any problem in the long run. Ultimately, though, it is putting a cop block on our transfer spend because we don't know whether or not we've got our guy. And the Premier League are going to just take their time, like they always do. An investigation into a Premier League investigations take longer than police investigations. It's madness. It really is. It's like they're all public servants almost, and that they just don't care. There's no incentive for expedition processes.
Meanwhile, they're looking at players to replace them. This is the same Marinakis who Spurs, having paid £12 million more for Brennan Johnson than they had agreed to sell to Brentford, then used us as an example as why they'd broken the FFP because of us. They used us as the make weight. About some of the Levy out crowd was reported this morning. It turns out that if we are found guilty, Spurs could get a transfer ban. Apparently, the Premier League were going to give us 18 months, but Daniel Levy is asking for 3 years. That's from the Levy Outers, brigade. I think. Look, I think what he's going to do, he's going to complain. Meanwhile, he's looking at replacements. Yeah, we know it. So let's see what happens.
We shall see. In the meantime, though, one of their number one replacement ideas is James McAtee. As we found out yesterday, he's looking like he's going to Leverkusen. So, it's going to be interesting to see how that one works out. Before we get into anything else, mate, the big story, which I didn't include in the title, but it broke since I put the title out there, is that, and I've got this on the screen here, I hope. Is it done? Is it up on the screen? Not yet. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
An Ornstein bomber, but not really a bomber, but maybe like a fake bomber. He says, Liverpool make approach to sign Alexander Isak from Newcastle United. LFC say no formal bid and are well aware that the Newcastle stance has always been not for sale, but have communicated their interest in a deal for the 25-year-old Sweden international worth in the region of £120 million. It looks like that one will be rejected anyway. John, I know we spoke about this when I was on the golf course a minute ago with the dog. Wasn't playing golf, but was out on the golf course. Look, I hear what you said was no, Newcastle don't need to sell. I hear you, totally hear you. I don't need to sell, but at some point, as my man Heisenberg said in Breaking Bad, name me one thing in life that isn't negotiable. At some point, there's a price point where Newcastle United can see the loss of him for the money they get as an opportunity cost that's worth taking because they can go and do a bit more. We've got the Ekatike stories to come to. What is the price point at which Newcastle United answer the phone?
I actually don't think that Newcastle have got any interest whatsoever of selling. I've mentioned this before, Sean, that Newcastle have been prudent in their approach the last sort of 18 months. They've got a £10 million loss, which is really going to play into their hands because now they can afford to buy Isaak. They've spent the money on Elanga. And now they've got an incredible strike force of Isaak and potentially Ekitike. Then they've got on the flanks, they've got Elanga, Anthony Gordon, potentially, Harvey Barnes. And then in the middle, they've got Tonali, they've got Murphy, and they've got Joel Linton. That's a terrifying front, right? I don't think when you're in multiple competitions like they are with the Champions League and they are in the Premier League, you've got to remember when they were last in the Premier League, in the Champions League, they struggled in the Premier League. They've taken note of that and they are going to make sure there's strength in depth. And you need two quality strikers. What we do know is that Alexander Isak has had a few injuries. He's not going to be there for every game. And it's just not going to happen. I think that Liverpool have got a situation where they need to get rid of Darwin Núñez. And there's a few blocks in that process because Napoli need the money for Victor Osimhen. But I think there are other targets which we'll come on to after that Liverpool might go for. I think they'll go for a few targets. We saw that Bayern Munich have lodged a bid of £59 million for Luis Diaz.
Yeah.
They're not going to accept that. They're saying it's going to have to take a bid well over 75, 80 million for them to even consider it. So
is Luis Diaz still at his age now? Is he, given the fact that the market doesn't fancy that sort of age as much? Is Luis, look at how much Guacares costs. Look at what João Pedro costs. We've gone for this 1,000 times. When you look at the market, is Luis? I think like 60 million quid's probably the right price for Luis Diaz, isn't it? He's a cracking player. Don't get me wrong, cracking player. But when you just look at the market elsewhere, you have to use relative sales as your benchmark, don't you, Johnny?
Well, I think you've got to look beyond that. What you've got with Luis Diaz is a guy that's absolutely tailor-made for Arne Slot's system. He fits like a perfect glove, yeah? And I think that's the issue here. Do you go with what you know works? And he was fantastic for Liverpool last year. Or do you take the money and then risk bringing someone else in who might not fit the gloves so well? And
he's 28 years old, though.
It doesn't. 28 is. I mean, I think we become ageist.
I'm not saying it like it's a hereditary. I'm saying that the market is saying that that's too old now.
Yeah, but I think they paid their money for him. They would have amortized him over the period that he's been there. I think it's nonsensical for them to get rid of him at this stage, especially after the tragedy of Jota. So it's going to take a mega bid for them to get rid of it. They want Darwin Núñez to go. They've got Harvey Elliott to go. And I think they don't need Luis Diaz to go unless it's a really crazy offer. Bayern Munich are desperate. They're obviously more into Diaz maybe than they are into anyone else at the moment, because this is, first of all, it was talk. Now it's been a solid bid, which has been knocked back. I don't know. I think Liverpool are still going to do more business. They've got a lot of business to do.
But where else do they want to go, right? So I spoke about this. I think you were speaking with me about this on Spurs Talk Show 3 months ago.
Yeah.
That Liverpool don't do 4 tweaks every year. They wait, and then they go big. And we said that this summer was going to be the biggest transfer spend probably in the Premier League history.
Yeah.
And it was going to be led by Liverpool's rebuild.
Yeah.
And there's a story here from Ben Jacobs that's saying that Liverpool are more than happy. I'll put it up on the screen so everyone can see it. Liverpool are more than happy to spend more than what they paid for Florian Wirtz. At some point to me, right? Like think what Liverpool did with the Coutinho money, right? Like at the time he was one of their best players, if arguably their best player, but £130 million bid. They got rid of the guy, he went to Barcelona, he flopped, but Liverpool cashed in, and everything that they now have, everything that Liverpool have right now started with the Coutinho sale. Because they went and rebuilt their centre-back. They got the best centre-back in the game, or who became the best centre-back in the game, and they got the best goalkeeper in the game at the time. You could make the argument, and I'm going to make the argument. I am going to make the argument now. You could make the argument that Alex Isak is a phenomenal player. But with 150 million quid, Newcastle United can go and improve and get their depth and also replace him. If they went and got an Ekitike for 80 million quid and still had 70 million left over to go and get that monster centre-back, that Scalvini that they want, to go and get a better goalkeeper, right? To go this, I know that with this idea that Newcastle's owners are starting to now maybe push the boundaries. They're starting to think outside the box and go, okay, everyone else is doing it, so we can do it. I hear that. And I also hear the argument that Newcastle's owners want the best and they're that kind of like, it's not worth it unless it's perfect sort of thing. But at some point, you have to sit there and think what you can do with the money. And is Alex Isak is one player. He's a phenom, but, one injury, start of the season, gets a nasty tackle, down for 3 months.
That's what I'm saying to you. That's why
I just think that Newcastle United at a price point of close to 140, I think Newcastle United would be insane not to take it. And I personally think that Liverpool are brilliant at identifying the next version of themselves. And if they do get it done, that they'll walk the league next year, in my opinion, despite the fact that City and Arsenal and Chelsea and everyone else is improving. They've just gone ahead. But for me, I think that Newcastle have to think a little bit outside the box on this one.
I'm not so sure I agree, because like you just said, Alexander Isak could get an injury, and fine. That's why they need Ekitike. And if they get rid of Alexander Isak and Ekitike is the one that gets the injured, they got no striker. This is my whole point. They didn't have that strength in depth. I think they're going to go and get James Trafford. They'll eventually negotiate that deal to get the goalkeeper out of Burnley. And eventually, I think they'll bring Scalvini in, or even De Winter. I think they'll bring one of those in because they need a centre-back. Now, if you look at Liverpool right now, they desperately need another centre-back. They cannot just go in with Gomez, Canate and Virgil van Dijk. It's not strong enough in centre-back. So what do they need? They need a Mark Gay. Can they? I think there's still a lot of business for them to do. I really do. Yeah. Look, Elliott's going to go. Darwin Núñez is going to go. That could bring in 80, 90 million pounds. Okay.
Yep.
That's without selling Luis Diaz. That's without buying. So I still think there's so much to come now from this window.
I hear you, and I don't know how much more. Like, I'm sure they've got the cash, but I don't know how much more wiggle room they've got.
What I'm saying to you is that maybe Liverpool will go for, like Foot Mercato are reporting, that Liverpool go for Jean-Philippe Mateta, because that's what they're reporting, that they have interest in him. Now, imagine him being fed by that lot. We saw how fantastic his game has come on under Oliver Glasner, and maybe they are thinking out the box, but not thinking.
Yeah,
well,
I don't think they'll get Mateta personally. I think he's
no. But I'm saying, do we really need that? Maybe they're thinking what we really need is a centre back. What we really need is another midfielder. But do we need to spend 80 million or 120 million on another centre forward? I think.
But so I'm coming at this from the Newcastle value proposition rather than the Liverpool. If Liverpool have identified him, if that's who they want, right? And according to Ben Jacobs, according to Ornstein, according to whoever else, the guys that know a thing or two, if that's where they want to go, we can discuss whether it's the right path. And I agree with you. Like, maybe they could go in a different direction, Johnny, and they have got other things that they could do to make their team almost like bulletproof. I completely agree with you. But from a Newcastle perspective, is my argument. I just think that sometimes, like, you can be penny wise and pound foolish. And I think that Newcastle United could do a hell of a lot to immunize themselves from an injury crisis that could easily happen. It happened to them 2.5 years ago, but Isaak wasn't on the receiving end of it. But yeah, they could be this time around, right? Newcastle do.
My point. That's my point. That's exactly my point. This is to negate that injury crisis by having both of them in the team. And that's
with the 150 million pound that they could get for an Isaak, they could go and get someone else that's not quite Isaak level. They could also get Ekitike, and they could go and get the centre back that they want, like a Scalvini, and they could go and get James Trafford, and they could go again as well. I'm just saying they can't do it. They can't do everything they need to do unless there's some other avenue of revenue that we're not aware of. Then for me, selling Isaak for me is like the pathway to be able to fulfill their needs. Like, just like the same with Tottenham, not to make it about Tottenham, but for me, I just think that if Tottenham were to go and drop 80 million on Adam Wharton, it essentially cop blocks any other hole-filling exercise. Whereas if you go and get a Paulinho instead of an Adam Wharton, I get that he's not as desirable, he's older and everything else, but if it costs you 25%, that leaves you with budget to go and get yourself a left winger or a striker or whatever else you might want to need to do, is what I'm saying. I think there's just opportunity cost you have to factor in here.
Personally, I don't agree. I just think that Newcastle, having suffered the last time they were in the Champions League and had a massive drop-off because they didn't have the strength and depth, are now looking. They've been very calm and collected in how they've done their business. Now suddenly they're seeing what everyone else is doing, and they're now going to make the move. I think they will try to get Ekitike and keep him, right? Imagine that pace. Ekitike, Isak, Elanga, Gordon. Now, Gordon, again, in certain papers, has been linked with Arsenal again, right? We've mentioned the fact that maybe Anthony Gordon could be the one who could be on its way. Look, Liverpool.
Where would he go? Arsenal? Is that the link?
Oh,
Isn't it? Arsenal's the link.
That was the link that's been out a few times. I mean, what would I say? Arsenal have genuine interest in Rodrygo, Anthony Gordon, and Rafael Leao, but a move for either of them will depend on outgoings. That's according to Ben Jacobs, and those outgoings are obviously Trossard and Martinelli.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't out the realms of possibility, but they also want to do the business with Eze. They want to move. That's the one they want to get over the line next after they've got done Gyökeres. They've done Mascara. That's done. They've done Zubamendi. They've done Norgard. They've done Kepa. They're moving in the right direction. You can't afford to be hanging around now. And I think Liverpool now, Darwin Núñez, they need to get rid of him because, like I said to you, other clubs are moving for the strikers now.
Yeah.
You don't want to be
in fact, mate, just quickly on that, I'm seeing other stories here. Is it still up on the screen? No, I've taken it away. That Liverpool basically saying, well, the rumours out from decent aggregators here that are saying that if Liverpool fail to entertain a bid, if Newcastle fail to entertain a conversation regarding Isak, then Liverpool will go back to Ekitike.
Yeah. But we said that.
So then what did Newcastle do?
Well, that's show business. That's show business. That's show business, man. I mean, look.
I love that. That's exactly right. That is show business.
Yeah, that's show business, right? Okay. It's how you maneuver, right? You can either be Mossad or you can be British policeman, right? Okay. Whichever one you want to operate like.
Yeah.
I just think that Liverpool are hamstrung in a certain respect to get the players they need to get rid of to bring the others in, but they're not in any way as bad a shape as Man United are right at the moment, trying to get rid of their players that are stopping them doing the Mbeumo deal. So, for example, with the Mbeumo deal, if someone comes along and tickles Brentford's fancy with the Vissa deal, whether it's, say it's Nottingham Forest, then that's going to put a complete block on Manchester United reaching an agreement with them on their player. So
we got to talk a little bit about this Lubna deal. It's a perfect segue, mate, if you don't mind.
No.
Are you ready to talk about it for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, so the story broke last night that Matthew Benham, who I think is arguably, everybody's second favourite chairman in the Premier League, probably just behind Tony Bloom because of the way they go about business, right? Bloom and Benham have this incredible. They should have made an Amazon documentary about the two of those. It would have been absolutely fast. If they could do that, by the way, a Brentford versus Brighton Amazon documentary, considering that the two owners were best friends, started Star Lizard together, the company that does essentially... for those of you who don't know, right? So Tony Bloom and Matthew Benham were partners in a company called Star Lizard. Bloom owns Brighton, Benham owns Brentford, best mates. And they started this company that essentially scours the market for betting opportunities with investor money, using data to figure out where it is that there's undervalued odds, right? So the price of a certain thing happening is statistically more likely than the odds suggest. And they take investors' money and they put it on these certain things, outcomes, and then they just make money. So they're a betting company essentially, but using data science. Incredibly smart. And then and they had this massive fallout. The two of them were best friends since they were like 18 years old. Best friends, and they ended up like breaking each other's hearts, going in different directions. Bloom buys Brighton. Benham buys Brentford. Benham starts another company. I forget the name of it. It's not Sporting Odds. It's I forget the name.
Very successful. Both of them are very successful.
Incredibly successful, and they both have exactly the same, basically the template. Right? They both use data to get this conveyor belt of talent. It's such a story, a movie that should be written, and they're both arguably about as competitive as each other in the Premier League. Brighton probably have a better track record with identifying the next talent coming through. But Brentford equally very good at it. Anyway, so Brentford last night has been said that they have new investment, which essentially means that Benham has sold a massive stake. And they've gone and got themselves in bed with businessman Gary Lubner. Gary Lubner is a guy that is a big donor of the Labour Party. I think he runs a massive charitable trust. And he's also got in bed with Sir Matthew Vaughan, who's a filmmaker. They're both minority shareholders in the club. And John Varney's CEO has said, together with our new investors, we have a shared ambition for continued growth and to thrive in the world's most competitive league. At the same time, mate, it was only a couple of weeks ago. Didn't Benham buy into a Scottish team, Johnny, from my memory?
That was Bloom. Tony Bloom.
Bloom, was it?
Hearts, yeah.
Sorry, Johnny, someone's at my door, mate. I'll let you carry on for just 2 seconds.
No worries. He bought into Hearts. That for Hearts is going to be a fantastic deal. I think it will be a great deal as well for Tony Bloom. I think already, they'll be looking to maybe put some of Brighton's academy or youth players up in Hearts to see them through. I wouldn't be surprised eventually if he does a full takeover at Hearts, Tony Bloom, but he'll be using his data models for them. I was just saying, Sean, if you just missed it, that I believe that some of Brighton's academy and trial players will go out to Hearts, thus elevating Hearts, because he reckons he wants to challenge the duopoly that is Celtic and Rangers. So watch that space, because I believe if anyone can do it, Tony Bloom is the one to do it. Yeah,
100%, mate. With regard, I completely agree, mate. I think it's a lovely little move for Bloom. In regards Benham, do you think the new investment for Brentford is just about perfect at this time with regards to what's happening? They've lost everybody in that. They lost their entire backroom staff essentially by one guy. Probably likely to lose 2 of their or 3 of their starting 11 right now. We've spoken about this many times, that they're looking over their shoulder potentially with the fact that Sunderland, who have signed a 6th player, by the way, that like there's a higher probability than ever that Brentford could unravel all of their 10-year progress, could be caught up because of the change that's happening. I'd hate it for what it's worth if Tottenham were responsible for Brentford to be sucked in and then the victim of a relegation plight, because I really do respect Brentford and their model. But this new investment that's coming in gives them a little bit more wiggle room for what it's worth as well. When the new investment comes in, they get an extra £30 million wiggle room for 3 years. Over 3 years to be able to, 90 million quid essentially. To be able to drop into it. New money, new ambition. I don't know too much about the Lubner fella, nor do I don't know anything about the guy Matthew Vaughan.
Matthew Vaughan, Matthew Vaughan. His father was one of the men from the original Man from U.N.C.L.E., Robert Vaughan.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Robert Vaughan, a famous actor, and he was in a series called The Man from U.N.C.L.E. But he's gone in. He's had a very successful career as a movie director. Listen, I think it's good for Brentford. As you say, the 30 million actually transpires to be 90 million over the 3 years. Plus, if they sell off any more of their players, I'd be interested to see if someone who really wants Visser right now. Remember, 19 non-penalty goals, only one behind the top scorer of non-penalty goals, which was Mohamed Salah. If they jump in for him, that almost automatically stops Brian Mbeumo going to Manchester United, whatever he wants, unless they come in with a mental offer. And that right now they can't even meet Brentford's valuation. So it'd be interesting to see how that one goes. And as new owners, maybe they'll say, look, we're not interested in selling our best assets anymore. He's got enough time left on his contract for them not to sell it. So it's going to be an interesting one that we saw with Aston Villa when Spurs were trying to negotiate a deal for Jack Grealish, and we dithered and made them a derisory offer. And then In came the new owners and said, no, that's not happening. And then we missed out the deal. And then Jack Grealish ended up going for 100 million.
Do you think that potential outcome affects Forest and Tottenham's pursuit of Visser more or less than it affects United's pursuit of Mbeumo?
Well, this is what I'm saying. Whoever first mover advantage, right? If someone moves in and offers Brentford the money that they want 35, 40 million pound, which is a lot for a 29-year-old. But if someone comes in with that money and pays it, that puts an absolute kibosh on Manchester United's efforts to buy Brian Mbeumo. So that will put a spanner in the works for them. There's so many cards up in the air right now. It really is,
mate. It's absolutely fascinating, dude. I love it. I love it when new investment gets pumped into a company or a club or a football, whatever, an organization, because all of a sudden everything's up in the air, Johnny. Everything, mate. It's like you don't know what's going to happen now with ongoing transfers. Players that are embedded in the club, manager situations. Obviously, they've just changed their manager, so that guy's going to be given some time. But I don't know enough about Lubner or the other fella to be able to know whether or what stake they've got. But obviously, Benham's still involved, but he's divested. So more heads at the table, more voices on the boardroom level. Maybe we saw what happened with Textor, Johnny. We saw what happened. We've got to talk about Textor, by the way. No, Johnny, that story, that rabbit hole story, mate. Absolutely.
We'll come on to that. What I would just find a little bit strange is it seems interesting that you choose to invest just as Brentford look vulnerable. Did they negotiate a cheaper price to enter at the 400 million?
I got the price details here.
The managers left, the captains left, the staff have left, and it looks like your star player may be leaving. Why didn't you invest the year before? I mean, why have you waited till now?
So here's the story, right? So Mark Kleinman first broke it, I believe. He said Matthew Benham, the Brentford FC owner, is selling a sizable stake in the Premier League club to businessman Gary Lubner and filmmaker Matthew Vaughan at a valuation of over £400 million. I understand the deal will be announced tomorrow, which it has been.
Yeah.
Over £400 million is the valuation of Brentford.
What was he buying?
Remember, what was the valuation of Crystal Palace? £400 million.
Correct.
Which team would you rather own? Palace or
Palace, personally. But listen,
it increases the kind of scrutiny over that John Textor situation, doesn't it?
Well, what did Benham buy in for initially? I can't remember the figure. It wasn't very much.
Not a lot.
Remember, Brentford were in the
League One or whatever it was. Yeah.
So he's the profit margin is great for him. Do you know what I mean? It's we needn't worry about him. Do you want to talk about the rabbit hole?
Yeah, I do. 1 second. I've got a couple of the choo-choo train has started.
Play that train, Sean. Play that train.
The choo-choo train is here. Marky, boy, we're stopping off. The choo-choo train's on its way. Guys, if you do want to jump on board the Super Sticker train, then we very much appreciate you. Remember, the money's going in the right direction. We're going to go and find ourselves a pretty young lady to sit in the background and to make everyone have a nicer experience just listening to me and Johnny talk. Let me get rid of that noise. But thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mark. Appreciate you, mate. And also Mr. Pox Office. How you doing, Poxy? Good to see you, mate. An ARC is implemented in order to protect player interest. Oh, a release clause. A release clause is implemented in order to protect the player interest. Is a non-disclosure agreement there to protect Forest from their point of view? You can go for 60, but if we get more, perfect. I love the fact that you put in so many acronyms. I'm thinking about OMG, WTF. I can't understand what you're saying. But Mr. Pox Office, yeah, look, I think the release clause is used for a multitude of different reasons, mate. Think about Erling Haaland's release clause. That wasn't there to protect Dortmund. That was there to protect the player's ability to move on very quickly. But think about Lamine Yamal's release clause. £1 billion apparently is going to be something silly like that. That's obviously there to protect the club. And obviously to stop anyone coming in. I never see the point in putting those ones in because no one's ever going to pay that money, but you never know, I guess. And non-disclosures are there to protect the club for sure. So again, doesn't I don't like I was saying this. Johnny was saying this a few weeks ago. Simon Jordan, a couple of days ago when it first broke, Simon Jordan said it subsequently. It doesn't make any sense to have a non-disclosure agreement on a release clause, because what's the point of having the clause if no one can know about it? But thank you for the super chat. Johnny, take on that, mate?
Listen, I've said to you before, it's nonsensical. As far as the Eze release clause was concerned, no one knew about any release clause, and everyone assumed, including the press, that it was 68 million, all of it payable up front, which discouraged people. Right now, all of a sudden, it's 60 odd million, bonuses and all the rest of it, but it's in 3 installments. So straight away, that's a different ball game, right? Now, why did it take that long for that news to come out? Could have been released maybe last year, or did it only kick in this year? Is it only a short period of time? We don't know, but no one's kicking up a fuss about that, are they? Because no one's done the deal yet. But it will happen. I mean, there's rumours now that Arsenal's next stop is Eze. And let's be honest, if they get them, they look like an unstoppable train, as much as it pains me to say it. They look
about unstoppable trains, mate. I'll talk about unstoppable trains. We're stopping off. We got one more stop to make on the choo-choo, and that's to Fletcher's Junction. Good to see you, Fletch. Appreciate the super sticker. Guys, if you want to jump on board the super sticker train and show your appreciation to the channel, all you got to do is throw in a cheeky little sticker, and we'll find out where you live, and we'll come pick you up. We've got so much more to talk about.
Afternoon, Gary. Afternoon,
Gary, mate. I'm going to be speaking to Johnny. We're going to be finding out your number, calling you very soon, bro.
Got his number. We're calling him this week. Good one.
100%. Big up to you, Fletch. Thank you very much indeed. Mates, I wanted to just briefly pause for a second and say, guys, there's 450 of you in the house. Love to see it. I know that a lot of other big channels are also streaming, so the fact that you're over here now is awesome. We're a small channel. Please don't neglect to smash the subscribe button and the like button. But Johnny, I do want to just pause at this stage, mate, because we spoke about this for a little while, right? That there is a time and a place to do everything, and we're getting to the point in the season and the window whereby, this season, because we are now a global football channel, we need to be accessing and entirely on board, on board clubs and the investments and the interests of teams all over the league. And the best way to do that, mate, is to become, I guess, a surrogate son of a particular team. And so, ladies and gentlemen, what I want to introduce you to is the new segment of the show, which is over the next couple of weeks, Johnny and I are going to be inheriting our little love of every single one team from every single league around Europe, maybe even outside of Europe, to Turkey and Saudi and Brazil, etc. Maybe we're going to go to all different segments, but this is your first inculcation into that world. You need to buy into either Johnny's team or my team, but this is the section where we do and play the game where Johnny and I find out who we are a representation of from the Spanish league, La Liga. Johnny and I are going to find out who it is that we are supporting over the next 12 months at least, and maybe into the future. And as I say, this guy's the spin the wheel. It might never stop, as you can see from this segment. Oh, hang on about. What's happened there? My bad. Let's do it again.
Step right up and take your shot. What's behind that mystery spot? Will it be gold or a tiny teapot? Feel the buzz, the room's alive. We could spin and you'll thrive. Spin that wheel, spin it fast. Big drinks turn while the moments last. Spin that wheel, spin it true. Fortune's calling, it's up to you.
There we go. By the way, that fucking song, excuse my French, is an absolute banger. I used the AI generator, and I'm going to turn that into this summer's latest absolute banger. You can imagine people in Ibiza at a pool party Just absolutely done. Anyway, the wheel is still spinning, but we're about to find out. We are about to find out. We're spinning the wheel, spinning the bottle.
This is the club. What we're going to do, we're going to spin the wheel, and whatever each day we're going to do a different country, and whatever that wheel stops, that's the club that I, myself, and Sean have to support for the rest of the season, and we have to find out everything we can about it. Right? So let's see. Go on.
Are you ready to find out who you're supporting for the season, Johnny?
Yeah. Let's go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is our La Liga team of the season. Johnny, welcome to the stage. You are, as of right now, a secondary fan of... Oh, you love it. You love to see it. He's a fan of Bilbao. I thought he was a fan of him anyway.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm happy with that.
Do you have to get yourself on DH Gate? Get yourself a nice Bilbao.
You ain't getting my Nico Williams. Oh, yeah.
Johnny H is a fan of Bilbao this year. There we go.
God, Sean, I just realised that means I'm going to have to wear red and white. Shit.
No, you wear their away kit. You get the away kit. There you go. Yeah, Chad's. I can smell. As you say, I can smell.
Yeah,
you're 100%.
Right,
on their way to Bilbao.
Let's see yours.
Come on, the Basque. There we go. All right, who have I got? Don't give me someone stinky.
Oh, give me Osasuna.
Oh, give me Real Madrid. That's what I want. Let's find out who's Butler got. Butler's supporting. Come on. Let's go. Oh, no. Who is it? Oh, no. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, no. Oh, no. Who they are? Who are they?
Oh, I'm going to start por favor. I'm going to start my Spanish lessons.
Oh,
the Elche.
Up the Elche.
Yes, Brian Gill's old team.
No way. Elche for
relegation. Relegation's what you need.
Will DH even have a shirt from Elche?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, no. Oh my God, Sean's in the mud. Right. So, I mean, we'll be doing these each day. We'll be doing another one. Obviously, we'll be doing the other leagues. And we have to find out information about the team. We have to talk about the team and let us know as the season goes on what's happening with that team. And good luck with that one, Sean.
I'm just having a cheeky look right now. The highest rated fucking Elche. The highest rated player is a guy called David Afrin Gruber. €5 million valuation. I'm in the mud. I don't want to play this game anymore. Let's stop.
Oh, dear. It's going to be like support watching Spurs last season. 22 losses.
Oh, it's going to be horrendous.
It might not be so bad, Sean. I can't wait till we get to Turkey.
Well, we'll get to Turkey at some point. We got a Turkey segment of the show coming up, no doubt about it. Elche is in the Segunda division. No, they're not. They can't be.
They got promoted. Did they not?
They got promoted.
Yeah, I'm sure they got promoted. Yeah.
Ah, Jesus Christ. There we go. Yeah, we're going to include the Turkish league. We're going to include everything. So I need to go and get myself. What colours do Elche even wear?
I've got no idea. We'll have to look it up. Let's do the super chats from
I'm Elche until I die.
Chad Dubois.
Green and white. They're green and white team. They wear green and white. Okay.
That's not so bad. Better than red and white. I'll have to
look 100%.
Atletico away.
Super sticker train is stopping off at Chad the Box in Florida. How you doing, Chad? Good to see you, mate. Appreciate your super chat, mate. Makes me feel a little bit better after that bad news. Elche, of all the teams, I got nowhere to go with this one. It's a nightmare. It's going to be like putting pins in my eyes.
Listen, I'm sure it's going to happen to me on another spin where I get some random
How'd you get Bilbao, though? It's just outrageous. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Ulrika Johnson, Ulrika. Well, thank you very much for the super sticker. We're stopping off in Sydney, North Sydney, I think she's from. Let me know, though, Ulrika. Whereabouts are you from in Australia? Obviously, I know you're from in Sweden. If you know, you know. And Chad the Bolter said, after a few side of Sean, will turn Elche into Belche.
Yeah, definitely.
Unbelievable, 100%. I'm devastated with that one, but it's okay with me. I'm gonna fall in love.
I think it's in the spirit of it all, Sean.
I'm Elche till I die, mate. Elche till I die from now on. What are they? Are they the Burnley of the Premier of the Serie A of the La Liga?
La Liga. Listen, it's great fun, and we thought we'd add something extra to the show as the season goes on. We're looking for new things to add. I'm not sure if it was Drew that mentioned, but I think I'm going to start a fantasy football league. I think I'll set up a league and then get you all to come and join it, and we'll have a Football Inc. fantasy football league.
That's got me started very soon.
Yeah. Tell me something. Where do we go next, Sean? Tomorrow should we do Italy tomorrow?
Yeah, it's fine with me. Yep. No problem at all. We'll do Italy tomorrow. No problem.
All right, back to the real world.
Fucking Elche.
Manchester United have made contact with Lyon regarding a potential move for Corentin Tolisso. The midfielder could be available for a serious knockdown price because of the French club's financial issues. That's according to L'Equipe. And also, have now secured, they say, Football Transfers said they've agreed on a deal with Brian Weymouth. I don't believe that because too many other reporters are saying they're still apart on the actual number. So we shall see that. But Manchester United desperately want another striker. They're not going to be getting the main ones they want because of the players that won't leave. So Manchester United now could be looking to sign Italian international striker Moises Kean from Fiorentina. And they could trigger his release clause. That's through Corriere dello Sport. So we'll see if that one's okay. And the SK brand defender, Elvin.
Mate, hang on, I might have a... No. People are saying Elche. Sorry, just really quick. People are saying Elche stuck in Division 2. They're not. They got promoted.
They got promoted. Yeah,
they got promoted.
They got promoted. Not that I knew that.
I was hoping there was a chance for a redraw. I was hoping for a chance for a redraw. It didn't come. No. Sorry, carry on. Carry on.
SG brand defender Elvin Helland is a target for Manchester United, and they have recently sent a scout to watch him in action. So nothing concrete there. Liverpool are monitoring Brazilian winger Alisson Edward closely ahead of a potential move. And Liverpool refuse to reduce the asking price for Ibrahim Konate, and they will hold out for 50 million, despite him only having 1 year left on his contract. I think Liverpool have really got an issue at the back, Sean.
Yeah.
And, if Steve Parish plays hardball and doesn't let Mark Gahey leave, where does that leave them? They can't sell Konate. As it is, they've only got the three, as I say, Konate, Virgil van Dijk and Gomez centre-back. That's not enough.
Yeah. No, I hear you on that.
Gary's got the first Elche transfer rumour, Umar Sadiq.
I'm going to have to go and Y-scout some real scraps. I'm going to have to Y-scout some absolute... I'm getting down into the also-rans of this one. I'm devastated. Elche, for fuck's sake. I mean, what are we doing here? This game is no longer fun. I ain't got the time, Johnny, to be going after Elche. If you gave me, Atletico Madrid or something, I know what we're doing. I can handle that. But Elche, Jesus Christ.
Be careful what you wish for, Shawnee. There you go. I'm sure it will happen to me. I'm sure it will.
I'm gonna rig the fucking draw, mate. Tell me about that.
No rigging, mate. So, it's honestly. Let's look at Chelsea. So they're trying to get rid of João Felix. He's trying to secure a move away again, and his agent is trying to engineer a return to Benfica. Now we know Benfica won't be able to buy him, so they'll be looking to do a loan. Benoit Badiashile has decided to stay at Chelsea next season, and he is doing the cock block, Sean. Cue cock block.
Oh, we got a cop block. We got a cop block. No, we can't go anywhere without talking about the cop block.
Just when you thought your squad was getting proper, that player won't leave. They call that cock blocker.
He's refusing to leave, Sean. He's refusing to go. Listen, Chelsea have raised a lot of money, but they need to raise more, as we know, to meet the UEFA deadline to avoid the second fine. So I think that if Badiashile doesn't go,
they'll sign. They'll get rid of Dizazi, won't they?
Well, they try and get rid of Dizazi. They've got a few players that they need to try and get rid of, but they're also showing an interest, as we know, of Mike Maignan. They're showing interest in Donnarumma, and they're also showing interest in Borussia Dortmund's attacker Karim Adeyemi as well. They're more like a player exchange network, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, it's like eBay for football clubs.
Yeah, I mean, like coming next week, leaving next week. It's a real merry-go-round. I know we spoke about Liverpool already, mate, but I just want to ask you a quick question. David Ornstein put out this tweet yesterday, or this morning. Munich have made an official €67.5 million bid to sign Diaz, right? I know we spoke about this, but they said that the Reds value him at €100 million. They don't want him to go. Look, Sean, they don't want him to go.
Is that what it comes down to, right?
Yeah, they don't want him to go. Like I said to you, he is perfect for Arne Slot's system. Fits like a hand in a glove. So, he's not going to go anywhere. He really isn't. And that's the way it is. Real Madrid are interested in Ibrahim Konate, but they're unlikely to make their move. I think, judging by the fact that they bought two centre-backs, haven't they? So they bought Dean Huijsen and they bought Trent. I think they need, judging by the performance in the semi-final, they need another centre-back. They're not going to pay the money for Romero. Maybe they'll pay the 50 million for Ibrahim Konate. Who knows? But Real Madrid have secured the signing of Alvaro Carreras from Benfica. I'm not sure of the price of that one, Sean, but that's been done.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, to be honest. I can't see it.
But Nathan's done a bit of scouting. Everyone's doing a bit of scouting for your Elche. Defender Bambo Diaby. Bamboo, the old bamboo.
He's Bambi on ice, that one. He's just like this one. He's like Bambi on ice.
Oh my god, dude, that party was so... Oh, I almost just kicked that rock. I'm not gonna fall.
That's Bambo Diaby. That's your Bambo Diaby.
We love to see it. We love to see it. Mate, I do want to ask you a little bit about this particular one, though. Look, not to bore everybody with the segues, but we are talking here about a massive deal away from transfers. This is a absolute monster. And because it does affect, and it's all about the money, we have to bring in the dancing Johnny Wacky mask. Here we go.
It's all about the PSR. It's all about the FFP. It's all about the loopholes. It's all about the money.
Mate, this one is something that is quite insane. And it says here, Manchester City and Puma have agreed an extension to their kit deal until 2035, with the contract understood to be worth a minimum of £1 billion, making it the largest deal in Premier League history. Now, this isn't a shirt sponsor. This is a shirt manufacturer. And obviously, Tottenham are stuck in one that they made. You spoke about this before, Johnny.
Yeah.
We made a massive faux pas, but people that are saying that commercial deals in football are dead, Like they couldn't be more wrong, right? It's wild how much money is available now for Tottenham. Obviously, cop blocked themselves there with a long-term deal. Arsenal did something similar, but City now have got £1 billion coming in. There's no more FFP. There's no more PSR. There's no more anything with regards to Man City. They can do what they want, right? That they are head and shoulders in the financial market above everybody else.
35 million a year over 10 years. It's a huge deal. I mean, look, Chelsea were holding out from...
No, not 35 million.
Sorry, I thought it was 10... Sorry.
It's a billion euros. So 100 million euros a year.
It was 1 billion. Sorry, beg your pardon. Sorry, I was confused.
It's massive. 100 million euros.
Yes. I mean, look, the thing is with Tottenham Nike absolutely saw Daniel Levy in a panic during COVID, laying staff off, and came in with a ridiculous 15-year deal. And we got absolutely rogered. And we're going to pay for that. I actually had mentioned to Sean off screen here whether or not Spurs might try to buy Nike out of that deal through another, like an Adidas or someone else coming in to try and better that deal, or try to renegotiate, because we know that Vinny did a fantastic job getting the Adidas deal for Arsenal. And he's very good at these sponsorship deals. That deal that Manchester City have just got is bonkers, absolutely bonkers. And knowing Man City, they probably asked for exactly the right amount to clear them of the expenditure that they've just had in the January and summer window. You can see it, you know. I personally prefer Adidas to Nike. I'm in agreement with some of the people who are in the chat. I'll tell you what, if you're 1 for Nike, 2 for Adidas, see where you are with that. This is Puma. So maybe Puma feel that this is 1 billion invested big time with a club like Manchester City. 1 Nike, 2, two. So yeah. I'm in agreement, guys. I'm in agreement. For me, the Adidas kits are far nicer, more creative. Saying that, I think this year's Spurs away kit and third kit are absolutely superb. The best kits I've seen in a long, long time. Long may it continue. But this deal, Sean, Chelsea are looking for £60 million a year for a shirt sponsorship.
Yeah, and they can't get it right now.
Can't get it right now. So
Riyadh rejected them when they went. They said no chance. So,
well, we'll have to see on that.
I think that Tottenham in 2027. We have to talk about that as well. By the way, let's just finish the point about the shirt deals. But Tottenham have just signed an absolute world-class team from Manchester United. They got dumped out, they left United when Sir Jim Ratcliffe came in and did his cost-cutting nonsense. And Daniel Levy has pulled an absolute masterstroke here in getting in a team called I forget what it's called, something 8, something Ultras 8 or something. I'll get it in a second. And these guys are responsible for some of the best deals that United have ever done, and they've come to Tottenham. So if Daniel Levy has been sidelined and put to one side, like everyone's assuming this is like he's been forced. But you know what, mate? I will make the argument, not that anyone knows necessarily the kind of like the pecking order here or how it's worked out. But in a nutshell, it could easily be that Daniel Levy has got himself a trophy, doing it the organic way, got the Europa League, and then gone, all right, you know what? Now I've done my bit. I had to prove my worth. I've done it. Now I'm happy to step to one side and do the commercial thing. And he's just inculcated himself into a team that have got a monster pedigree of getting commercial deals done, Johnny. Like it's a worldie of a signing in terms of commercial to get these boys on board. This girl's actually, it's a girl who runs the show. I think it's massive for Tottenham. And you're right. Like in 2027, we've got to get a new AIA are going to walk off, and we're going to get someone else in. At the sorts of prices that are being dealt right now, Chelsea don't have a commercial sponsor in that regard. City have just done their deal. We've got to wear with what we have to wear for the next few years until 2035. But in terms of shirt sponsor, surely Tottenham are about to find in the next 18 months an absolute monster of a new shirt sponsor, wherever it's from, whoever it's going to be, crypto, whether it's going to be betting, whether it's going to be alcohol, whatever it's going to be. You can expect a much improved number on the AIA deal that we got 5 years ago, right?
Yeah, I still think that someone might come in. Gary says they're Altius 8 is
Altius 8, that's it. Altius 8. Thank you, mate.
Thanks,
Cheers,
Gary.
Cheers, Gary. Appreciate you, mate.
I think Vinny, I don't think people really understand why Vinny's been made CEO now for what he brings. There's a reason why he rose through the ranks at Arsenal and was there for that amount of time and was responsible for so many big deals. He's a big player, and I expect Spurs to sign. I'm not interested in the official bed or the official milkshake, Spurs official milkshake and Spurs official Slumberland bed, right?
Yeah, that was the Todd Klein era, wasn't it?
Yeah.
100 micro deals that meant nothing.
Yeah, we want big deals. We want big deals that are game changers, and I feel that it won't be long now before Spurs start to bring some new ones in now. What other stories have you got there, Sean? But this is a big story. Someone was asking there in the chat whether or not we had discussed the Brentford story. We have. So if you go back earlier, we have discussed it. I'm sure it will come up again. Yes, Ina Hype. Nvidia would be a great sponsor for the naming rights, but we'll wait to see. I'm sure all will be revealed once the transfer window's closed. I'll be shocked if it's revealed beforehand. If I'm honest.
100%. You have to beg the question, right, about this 1 billion. Like, is this just like another? Is there going to be an indirect investment behind the scenes from Abu Dhabi into one of these companies? Now that third-party transactions are all up in the air, you can find these sorts of deals now, right? And if Tottenham are getting into bed with, I all of a sudden, mate, I have less of a problem. Shamelessly, I have less of an issue if Tottenham are on the receiving end of it. I don't really, as like a fan trying to give, trying to be consistent. I think that the whole system is sort of spoiled a little bit. But the Middle East kind of the money that's coming in from that world, it's obviously that it's not just the money that comes directly in, but indirectly behind it. You don't know whether there's money going into the shirt companies, manufacturers themselves behind the fact, so that it's a little bit of a back scratching exercise. Look, that story will kind of will sort of sit in the pot and will cook along. Nottingham Forest, though, mate, according to Telegraph, have made Aston Villa's Jacob Ramsey their number one target. It says that it's unclear if Villa would be willing to sell their homegrown midfielder, but for the last 2.5-3 weeks, it's been made pretty obvious that that's their best and easiest go-to to get themselves out of a financial jam.
FFP, Sean, FFP. Listen, homegrown gives them a great multiple. It's they might not want to sell that one, but that's the one that really clears them. And as for Nottingham Forest, the foxhole with Nottingham Forest, Marinakis, I really have got this absolute loathing for him and Textor right now and all the shenanigans. We've said this before with him buying up two players, Textor's players from Botafogo, and that money being used to get Lyon out of the trouble to get into the Europa League. But how did they get into the Europa League? They got into the Europa League with a last-minute goal conceded by a player on loan from Nottingham Forest. Yeah. And Textor and Marinakis are mates. And he was the one that Marinakis complained to UEFA about Crystal Palace, just as he sold his shares. There's so many links, and there's so many people say it's conspiracy theorists, but it's not. There's just so many links between Textor, Marinakis, and all the shenanigans that are going on between Forest, Botafogo, Lyon, and the what's been going on with Lyon being thrown out, Forest with their nonsense complaining, and him selling his shares, that need to be investigated. And quite honestly, for him to be calling out Spurs for their shenanigans, apparent shenanigans, which I don't think we've done absolutely anything wrong. But I'll ask the question, guys. Do we walk away from Morgan Gibbs-White if this carries on and go for another target? If you're in the chat, 1 to stay and work it out, 2 to walk away.
Yeah, it just feels to me, mate, that it will get done, but I think that now the Premier League are involved, as I said earlier, I just think that it's a delay, right? It's a massive delay, and not knowing one side or the other means that you can't really engage in other activities, because you might think that you have less money than you would. Well, it will turn out that you have available, or it might mean that you have more money than you think you do available, right? And so the longer it goes on, you hope this is sort of finished up pretty quickly. But either way, Marinakis and Nottingham Forest and Tottenham Hotspur all of a sudden have a major rivalry, because they are cop blocking us, and they're cop blocking themselves at the same time, for what it's worth, because they don't know either whether or not they're going to get the guy. It seems really, really futile and really silly. But at the end of the day, if Tottenham, I've made the argument since we allegedly signed him, I'm not sure what problem he solves, by the way, especially as, for what it's worth, that Mohamed Kudus, there was a story out this morning that Mohamed Kudus, that Chelsea walked away from the Kudus deal because Kudus insisted that he be played in the 10 role at Chelsea. Now, whether that's true or not, I had to dig into the Chelsea archives of content. But if that is true, then if Kudus is going to be used in the 10 to cover over the current injuries to Maddison and to Decky, then Morgan Gibbs-White would be playing in the 8. At which point you go, well, on that basis, yeah, look, Gibbs-White for me is a brilliant player, and I really like him. And I think he adds a lot of skill, and I'm more than happy for him to come in. But at the same time, I still don't think he is. I think it was like I genuinely think that. Well, I genuinely think that it's more of a 60 million quid for a player that's probably worth a lot more than that, and they've got a stupid clause in there, sort of Tottenham doing Tottenham things, opportunity rather than value, and thinking that's. I'm not sure what hole it fills, and so. Part of me, mate, I'll be entirely honest, part of me doesn't really care. I like the player. I do like the player. Of course, I'd rather him be here than what we have. But if it does free up 60 million to go and get someone else, and then also do something else, if it allows us to go and get an Ekitike, for example, or if it allows you to go and get a Vissa or someone else at the top end of the pitch that having Gibbs-White and the money you're spending there prevents you from doing, there's always the opportunity cost to kind of consider here. And I almost feel like
I think. Well, I listen. I
feel like the deal for me is more around. Oh, there's an opportunity to to take advantage of a stupid clause more so than he's the perfect fit for what.
No, listen, look. Frank wants him, but what I'm saying here is we can't sit around, Sean, waiting for Marinakis and the agents and the player to sort this out. We got transfer business to do. If it's going to drag on and on and on. And we're going to miss other alternative targets. We don't want to be dropped to the garden fence and the door closed on us, and we haven't got anyone to fill the void. Okay,
that's what I mean.
Yeah, but
do you actually think that he's a massive hole filler, Johnny?
No, I think, like I've said with others, right? I think that Thomas Frank is looking for players who are very good players but need a lot of improvement, and Morgan Gibbs-White is one of those players. Has he reached the higher plane than Nottingham Forest thought? Yes. When they put that 60 million clause in, they thought that was great value, and they probably never thought that it would reach 60 million pounds. So that's just tough. But if I'm looking at Morgan Gibbs-White, sometimes he overplays it. He hits lovely passes on the outside of his foot when sometimes a simple pass will do. And, his shooting needs to be improved. But he's still young enough where he's going to improve. And I think Thomas Frank is that sort of hands-on coach.
25, mate.
Yeah, I know, but he's still not. He still has improvement in him, right? If you think at 25 you haven't got an improvement, I'm still learning stuff every day, right?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that. Look, like I say, for me, if the deal gets done, I'm happy. If the deal doesn't get done, I'm not that unhappy.
So what I'm saying is, right, judging from the chat, and we asked one to stay, 2 to walk. The majority is tough it out and see if we can stay and sort this deal out. So we shall see where we go from here. Barcelona are still trying to run around, trying to get deals done. They're keeping tabs on the highly rated flamenco attacker, Ryan Roberto. I can't see them doing anything right now. They've got the fine. They've already struggling with UEFA with that fine. Now that fine will be added to their already large losses. I think their only deals they're going to end up doing is some sort of deal with Marcus Rashford and hoping to get rid of a deal. They've already cancelled the contract for Ferran Torres as he continues to be linked with a move away. That's according to Mundo Deportivo. So I think the Barcelona story is going to run because I still can't understand. They've got nothing left to sell, Sean. Well, not much left to sell. They're not going to sell their star asset, who Lamine Yamal is meant to sign his mega contract tomorrow. I don't know if they're going to have a big parade tomorrow in the stadium, but that one is going to run for a while.
Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%. Another story out, mate. We have to, unfortunately, guys, for everyone that might be getting bored of the of these segments, we have to pop across to a certain part of the world.
This is the turkey segment. The turkey segment of the show.
Galatasaray have made an official approach to Ederson, City's Ederson, over personal terms, and the Brazilian is open to the move if his salary expectations are met. Johnny, I didn't see this one coming, mate. Ederson leaving City? What are we doing here? What are we doing?
I thought there was more chance of Alisson going than Ederson because of Mamashvili coming in, top goalkeeper. I was wondering whether he was going to take over from Alisson, and then Alisson thought it was an opportunity. I didn't see this one coming. Is he really open to it, or is that the Turkish clubs again trying to get the players over the line? Saying that they're interested.
Story sort of thing. Yeah.
I mean, look, we saw the other day with Jadon Sancho. They said to Jadon Sancho, "We want you." They said Jadon Sancho's to his agents, "What are you wanting?" They came up with a ridiculous number that they thought they'd never meet, which was £12 million net after tax. And he couldn't believe it and had to turn it down. But he's prepared to go to Juventus instead for less money. But they're trying to negotiate with Manchester United. I think they've offered him 8.6 million and a small bit of money, but Manchester United will have to pay some of the wage for the first year. So that's an interesting one to go, but I don't even think Turkey can entice him in, although they seem to have enticed everybody else recently. Victor Osimhen deal is still treading water out of Napoli. I don't know how much longer that one's going to run. I would figure that if this carries on, Sean, treading water with the Victor Osimhen deal, and all the other skittles have gone down and the other strikers have gone, that maybe someone in the Premier League will be forced to take a gamble on him. And take away from Turkey.
Yeah, look, I think that there's the Turkish game right now, mate, is they are throwing out so many fishing rods, or so much. It's a net, isn't it? And just throwing out so many stories. We've been talking about Turkey every day. 15% of our show is about Turkey every single day, and yet when it actually comes to getting deals over the line, there's not that many that's taken place so far. But
they've got quite a few, Sean. They have got Tammy Abrahams has gone. There are players that have gone. Asensio's gone. Tammy Abrahams has gone. They're getting more deals done now. Turkey is normally, historically, a team that does a lot of their deals, the vast majority.
The week after, yeah.
Yeah, the week after the European transfer window closes. So
there's certainly something going on over there. 100%. There's but there's the amount of links to Turkey. Like you're right that they have done a lot of deals, but the relative to the amount of stories between those, it's only those three clubs, right? Imagine if it was just Villa, Tottenham, and Newcastle, for example, and the amount of stories that are out there. It's like Fabio Paratici's working for them, spinning plates galore. We'll carry on with it though. Just quickly, Super Sticker Junction is picking up Fletch. Big up to you, Fletch. Appreciate you, mate. Choo choo. And also, Bobby Spurs are stuck in a super sticker. We appreciate you, Bobby. Thank you very much indeed. And Daniel Field, Clapham Junction's in the house. Good to see you, Daniel Field. Hope you're okay, mate. Hope you're okay. We were wondering where you were, Daniel. We were wondering where you were, mate. We hadn't seen you.
Junction was closed, mate. We thought we were closed for repairs. Usually,
yeah, there was a shopping trolley on the track. Unfortunately,
If you're in the chat, guys, if you're in the chat and you're here for the first time, please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell because we go anytime from 9:30 in the morning to 9:30 at night, depending on what's going on in our lives. But we always try to bring you an hour a day. And if you haven't hit that like button, please hit the like button, guys. It helps the algorithm, helps the channel grow. What have we got there, Sean, as we're coming to the end?
Benfica are taking their boy home. The prodigal son returns. Benfica are talk to Chelsea over a permanent deal for João Felix, with the Blues unwilling to sanction a loan move for the 25-year-old. That's from Ebola. No more Ebola references, Johnny. Necessary. What's your thoughts on João Felix returning back to where he came from?
I won't mention Ebola, as you say, but I will mention the fact that this deal is sick. Unfortunately, here's a guy Atletico Madrid paid an insane amount of money for, and he's been passed around like Bonnie Blue at a party, and he's still only 25 years of age.
Yeah.
The guy's got so much talent. So it begs the question, why can he not be settled, Sean? Is it the amount of money he's on?
Yeah,
I can only think that it's not. It's not really his talent. Although he is slight, I'm not sure. What's going on there. I can't see him going anywhere other than on a loan, or Chelsea coming to some deal where they let him go for like 30, 35 million maybe, and he negotiates his contract. Going back, someone mentioned there, what about Ferran Torres if he does leave on a free? Where could he possibly go?
Ferran Torres, mate, was top player. I think he could.
How old is Ferran Torres now, guys, in the chat? Can't remember how old he is.
Ferran Torres, he's 25? Let's have a look. Ferran Torres is still fairly young, I think. 25. There you go, 25.
So, what's going on there?
It's quality player, mate. Quality player. But you know what? Barcelona, the lifestyle. Who knows what's going on? But he's a very, very good player, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him go to a top team. He'd probably go. I'm not sure if he'd necessarily come to the UK, but not yet, maybe. But Serie A might be. Maybe Juve go after him if they can't get Kolo Muani in. We shall see, but I'm a big fan of Ferran Torres. He's got an absolute wand of a right foot on him, mate. He's a really, really classy player. I wanted to show you this one, buddy. A story that's close to your heart. Arsenal are set to approach Crystal Palace to discuss whether they can do a deal for Eze without triggering his £68 million fee. But at the same time, as I scroll up, just very briefly, Bayern Munich will go head-to-head with Arsenal in a race to sign Eberechi Eze. Imagine Eze and linking up with Michael Elise again, mate. We spoke about this for weeks, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. We spoke about it, before he was linked to Arsenal, really before he was linked to Bayern Munich. Musiala's injury obviously has triggered this. Bayern Munich are having a bit of a tough time in the transfer window, to be honest with you. They spent a year trying to perform a lap dance for Florian Wirtz. They normally get their man in Germany, and he went to Liverpool, as we know. Sane's gone to Turkey, and Matthias Tel obviously has gone to Spurs. They need to fill these places now. And so will Eze go though? That's the thing, family here. It's a big lifestyle change. Does he need to go there? I mean, I would think London boy, former Arsenal player, let go, I think at 13 years of age. Would he want to go back for redemption and to show that he really wasn't, the reject that Arsenal thought he was, and stay in London? I think he would choose Arsenal over going to Bayern Munich. What do you think of Simon maybe going there? I don't know.
Yeah, we shall see, mate. It's an interesting one. Look, we've been going for an hour and 20, so we've got to round this up very soon. But there's so many stories that are still just percolating around. Just a quick one. Garnacho is, according to TBR Football...
Getting his hair dyed blonde again?
What's that, sorry?
I said he's getting his hair dyed blonde again.
Getting his hair dyed blonde, but he's getting his hair dyed blonde potentially either in Aston Villa, a barbershop in Aston Villa, or a barbershop in Chelsea. Both of those teams apparently still have active interest.
Chelsea, I think Chelsea again. Chelsea will be looking to offload
another winger.
Yeah, they got. Listen, they'll be selling off players and they'll be bringing them in. Garnacho to Bayern would actually make sense, but I'm not sure. I think Bayern like a clean player, and if you're looking at as a God-fearing player, runs charities, brand ambassador's dream, as opposed to Garnacho. I know which one I'm taking for my club.
Yeah. I'm not sure he'll end up in the Premier League. I don't think he'll go to Chelsea personally. I think he'll go to Italy or somewhere outside, because I think he's just a strange one for me. Doesn't seem to be too invested in any project. I think he's invested in himself, and I think he needs a clean break from the press as well, because I think they probably made their mind up on him. Mate, we'll round off in a minute unless you've got other stories, but we've got West Ham have added Harvey Elliott and Tyler Morton to the list of targets. Graham Potter has rated them both for some time. That's from the Daily Mail.
I can't see Harvey Elliott, leaving Liverpool for West Ham. I think he'll have higher aspirations. No offense to any West Ham fans that are in there. Listen, sometimes I get in the mud for posting a story that's been leaked, but it looks like Fabrizio Romano is in the mud on Fraud Watch, as Ryan G says. He gave us the here we go of John Arias from Fluminense, only for it to come out that the bid was rejected. Quality player. And there is no rumour that he has got an Arias, but John Arias is a top player. If you watched him in the Club World Cup,
very good player.
As one of the standout players of the Brazilians for sure. I think that's about it, Shawnee.
Yeah, there's other stories, but no big ones. So we'll leave it there, guys. We'll be back later on tonight if there's more breaking news, or we'll be back tomorrow, if not, for your 24-hour dose of what's going on. More segments than Terry's chocolate orange. And tomorrow we find out whether Johnny gets another worldie in the Italian stakes, or whether it is that Shawnee finally gets a little bit of luck. And we will see. Until now, I've got to go and figure out a little bit about Elche, and hopefully go and see if even DH Gate don't have an Elche shirt for sale in my size. We shall see, but I'm on the Elche train. Choo-choo! And Johnny's got his team from the Basque region. He is a Bilbao.
I'm fully bashed. The funny thing is, I've got to say, before we go, I did say when I left Bilbao, I will be keeping an eye out on Bilbao, because the reception that we got from the Bilbao fans was absolutely superb. And I will definitely be taking a keen interest. But I can't be wearing that red and white shirt, Sean.
Get the away shirt, mate. Get the away shirt. Meanwhile, I've never even heard of Elche. And so I'm not going to lie to you. I've got no idea. But up the Elche. And we will see you tomorrow, guys. Like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you for all the super stickers and for the super chats. Steve T coming in with a late one there. Thank you very much, buddy. Daniel, Bobby, Fletch, Chad, Ulrika, Chad again, Fletch, Mr. Pox Office, and Mark. We love you all. We'll see you tomorrow. Please do smash the like, smash the subscribe on your way out. And if you are interested in the audio version, please, guys, if you do podcast at all, if you listen to Joe Rogan or whoever you listen to, then please take 2 seconds when you're on those Spotify's or Apple Pods to search up Football Inc. and smash the 5-star and smash the follow button. It's really, really important to the channel. Thank you so much, guys. See you tomorrow. And it's goodbye from me, Johnny.
It's goodbye from me.